acknowledge that the Labour manifesto was beautifully written, deeply moving, and like that other great blockbuster of hope and redemption, The Salt Path, a total pack of lies.
The entire house burst into laughter, not because it was entertaining, but because no one could believe what they were hearing. That was the reaction when an MP calmly stood up and dismantled Labour's latest statement, exposing lie after lie in front of everyone.
We are very proud of our manifesto.
What was supposed to be a serious national plan quickly turned into a national joke. And that laughter? It wasn't just noise. It was a warning siren, loud, clear, and impossible to ignore.
The chair of the working group for anti-Muslim hatred and Islamophobia, Dominic Grieve, who was appointed by the Secretary of State, has a previously stated preference for a definition of Islamophobia that would shut down talk of religion in cases like the Grooming gangs scandal.
This is where things become deeply troubling. When Colin Rayner was questioned about a report exposing shocking failures and bias in how grooming gangs were handled, she showed no responsibility, only pure evasion. Worse still, there's a clear attempt to bury the entire issue in silence. That's why it's so important to like, share, and subscribe. Because when we shine a light on the truth, they can't simply sweep it under the rug. Together, we make sure your voices are heard. Now, let's take a closer look at what's really happening.
Graham Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Could I begin by warmly congratulating the Prime Minister on his first year in office, acknowledge that the Labour manifesto was beautifully written, deeply moving, and like that other great blockbuster of hope and redemption, The Salt Path, a total pack of lies. With joblessness, inflation, and debt ballooning, his personal ratings collapsing, and his backbenchers on a work to rule.
Yes, you heard that, right? They're laughing at the very lies they themselves put forward. This isn't confusion. It's a blatant display of contempt for the very people who once trusted them.
Could the Prime Minister... Could the Prime Minister recommend...
Come on, let's get on with the question.
Could the Prime Minister recommend a summer recess read in order to take all our minds away from the calamitous journey on which he and the Chancellor have embarked?
I think most of the backbenchers are already on their summer recess, looking at the benches opposite, Mr. Speaker. We are very proud of our manifesto. It was a very successful manifesto, giving a landslide victory, and now we're very proud to be implementing it.
Colin Rayner, Shadow Secretary of State.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The chair of the working group for anti-Muslim hatred and Islamophobia, Dominic Grieve, who was appointed by the Secretary of State, has a previously stated preference for a definition of Islamophobia that would shut down talk of religion in cases like the Grooming gangs scandal. All other members of that committee, again appointed by the Secretary of State, are adherents of the Muslim faith. Does the Secretary of State not share our concerns that their report and recommendations will be seen as predetermined and biased?
Secretary of State.
No, Mr. Speaker, I don't. And there's no blasphemy law in this country because the last Labour government got rid of it. But this kind of, incendiary language, Mr. Speaker, is beneath the Shadow Secretary of State.
Colin Rayner.
Language, I was merely stating the facts. That's the reality. She was right in one regard. Freedom of speech is on the line. The current position is that the report will be for the government eyes only, and the decision on a definition will be taken in private.
If they're willing to bury this report, then we must ask, what else are they hiding? These are deeply sensitive issues, not something that can be brushed aside. At the very least, the public deserves honesty, clarity, and full transparency.
Would she at least commit to making the full report publicly available so it can be scrutinised by this House and elsewhere before a decision is taken?
Well, Mr Speaker, as set out in the terms of reference, the independent working group will submit their findings to ministers. We will then consider their recommendations and set out the next steps. I would urge the members to let the independent group get on with their work, and if he has views, feed them in as part of the call for evidence.
If you agree this farcical performance has gone on long enough, hit that like button now. It helps more people see the truth for themselves. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the stories the mainstream media would rather bury. And share your thoughts in the comments. Do you think it's time we call out these bold-faced lies for what they really are? Now, turning to another explosive story. A fiery debate erupted live on GB News when veteran farmer Colin Rayner challenged Labour's Environment Secretary, accusing him of misleading the public about the agricultural budget. With nearly 50 years of experience rooted in the English countryside, Rayner didn't hold back. During a tense exchange with GB News political journalist Catherine Furr, he repeatedly pushed back on Steve Reid's claims. The clash reached its peak when Rayner flat-out accused Reid of lying, shattering Labour's polished narrative and leaving viewers with a crystal-clear idea of who was telling the truth.
Welcome to the show. So, nothing to complain about, Colin. Farmers have more money. More money is going to more farmers than at any time under the previous government. What are you complaining about?
I just find it incredible that he can stand there and lie to the media. I've been farming since 1976. That's the biggest lie that we've ever been told to. The government is paying some farmers to plant wildflowers instead of growing food. That's insane. My 3 daughters have had to leave the business because the business is not profitable anymore. That's the next generation gone. They should be on the farm now learning the trade. You know, I'm 67. I just hope I don't have an accident in the next year to avoid the inheritance tax. This government, why does it hate the farmers so much? We here produce the best food in the world, allegedly. They should be supporting us. And they keep saying the National Health Service, the money that he's raised from an inheritance tax, £740 million, he's given to African farmers to plant trees. He's mad as a hatter. I'm sorry. Well, it's just insane what this government is telling us.
Colin, a lot of people do raise this question of priorities and choices. And you're right to point out that the amount of money saved annually by this inheritance tax raid is about £750 million. Some say it's as low as £500 million. And yet we find that we're paying out £1 billion a month in universal credit to those from overseas. We seem to find the money to help those from elsewhere, but we don't seem to find the money to help our own.
We don't help any UK citizen. We seem to help everybody else in the world first. And I don't mind helping other farmers and educating them and them come to this country to learn how to farm. But we need to look after food production in this country. And we produce our own milk, we produce our own beef and sheep, and we now have a government wanting us to eat less meat to save the planet. Avocados don't save the planet. So I can't understand this government, why he can stand there. He was booed at the NFU conference. We had the Prime Minister speak to us before he became the Prime Minister and lie to us for an hour. I just wish to tell the truth. We as farmers can handle the truth. You know, our family have been farming the same farm since 1551. I think I will be the last generation because the amount of tax the next generation will have to pay, will have to sell the farm, and it will turn into scrub land and into housing. We seem to be concreting over the countryside. They're now allowing solar farms on prime agricultural land. None of it makes sense. And I just wish this government would wake up and just speak to our National Farmers Union, speak to the Country Landowners Association. The statement he just made to your colleague was just unbelievable. The National Health waiting lists haven't gone down because they haven't collected any of the money from the inheritance tax yet. So it's I just find it laughable.
OK, we have to leave it there, and it's incredible to hear 500 years, more than 500 years of farming could be broken by these decisions. That is an incredible thing to hear. I hope that doesn't happen.
If you've made it this far, thank you. Seriously? Every view, every like, every comment. It means more than you know. We're getting so close to our next big milestone, and we can't do it without you. If you've been enjoying the content, please take a moment to subscribe. It's completely free, but it means the world to us. Behind every video is time, energy, passion, and a genuine desire to bring you something that matters. Hitting that next goal isn't just about numbers. It's a sign that this little community we're building is growing stronger every day. So, if you're here and you found value in what we share, help us keep going. Subscribe. Join the journey. Let's hit this next milestone.